I spent the last segment getting that off my chest about Capitol Police and about police in general, and particularly about my guys being indicted by the AG's office in what I believe to be a political witch hunt. That is my opinion, and that is where I'm gonna stay until proven otherwise. If anybody from the AG's office wants to come on and dispute that, you're welcome. If anybody on the other side or their attorneys wants to come on and discuss it, you're invited as well. But I think this definitely needs to be brought to the public's attention, what's going on here. Let's see how the public feels about this. How does the public feel about good law enforcement being prosecuted for saving their lives? Well, it was death or prison, and I chose prison. That ain't how that conversation should go. That ain't how that conversation should go. We give cops guns for a reason. To defend themselves and to save other people's lives when somebody's doing something stupid and there is no other option. Let's talk about rocket scientists and engineers here for a minute. One of them just got bond yesterday over in Texas, Carmelo Anthony. Now, look, I don't have a problem with somebody being bonded out. A lot of people are making a big fuss out of this. He had a bond. They lowered the bond. He bonded out. That's the way our country works. Even when it's somebody we disagree with, even if it seems open and shut, we have a legal system here, and this is how it works. But let's not get mad at it now. Let's for example, the cases I just talked about, the police shootings. If it was up to Jacksonians, those two guys would be thrown under the jail right now. They would have got bonded out. Let's think about, I've heard idiots compare this to Kyle Rittenhouse. This has in no similarities to Kyle Rittenhouse. Zero. This kid went to a track meet he had no business at. It was not unlike Kyle Rittenhouse went to go protect businesses from being burned down in the town he lived in, despite what the media tells you. He crossed state lines, Clay. He crossed state lines. When the hell did y'all give a damn about borders and state lines? Democrats don't care about borders, much less state lines. That's the equivalent. I want y'all to think about this for a second. That's like saying somebody left South Haven to go to Memphis, or somebody left Memphis to go protect South Haven because it was being burned down by looters and rioters, or vice versa. Or somebody from Delta, Louisiana went over to Vicksburg to help because it was flooding. Come on. These things are nothing alike. Nothing alike. That kid went to that track meet with a weapon, looking for trouble, went to start a fight, and that's what happened. Period. But anyway, neither here nor there. That'll be up for the judge in Texas to decide. Not a judge, I'm sorry, a jury in Texas to decide. It'll have a jury of his peers, and they will decide. Plain and simple. Do I have a problem with him being out? I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's the system we have. You are innocent until proven guilty. Plain and simple. I ain't going to make a big fuss out of it. But there's rocket scientist and engineer number one. Again, the title of today's show, we should have got to all this in the first hour, not the last 30 minutes of the second hour. The title of today's show is, how are we ever going to get to Mars if we can't keep arresting our future rocket scientists, engineers, and potentially astronauts? All right, so Carmelo Anthony, there's number one. How about this one? A man was sentenced for shooting this happened. Now, the rest of these are all local. All of these are local. All of these are young black males here in the Tri-County area, particularly Jackson, with the exception of one. This is a headline from WLBT. I'm not going to bore y'all with all the videos, queuing them up and everything. It doesn't require that much. Y'all may remember back last year, it was in November, I'm sorry, it wasn't last year, November of 2021, the story reads, let's just do it like this. A man has pled guilty to multiple charges after he was accused of shooting a Lyft driver multiple times and taking her car. In November of 21, a Lyft driver, Brandy Luttrell, was shot 7 times by Dontarius McGee, 20 years old, as she picked him up in Byram. How many vowels has Dontarius got in it? O, A, I, U. Four. Four vowels is pretty much terrorist level. As Kim Wade said, if you get to 5 vowels, you've reached serial killer status. So 4 vowels is the behavior checks out. I could have told y'all he was guilty before he even pled. Y'all go back and look at all this stuff. Y'all start really diving into these headlines and paying attention. 4 vowels or more in their first names. Guilty. Every time. Anyway, our 4-vowel Dontarius McGee shot Brandy Luttrell 7 times. McGee, who was 17 years old at the time of the incident, pulled a gun on Luttrell and told her to get into the back seat of the car, drove her to criminal safe haven, Jackson, where he later dragged her into the woods and shot her. The suspect was later seen driving Luttrell's car and was arrested in Jackson, being charged with attempted murder, armed robbery, carjacking, and, of course, kidnapping. We're never going to get to Mars at this rate. On Monday, he pled guilty to all charges and will serve 30 years in the Mississippi Department of Corrections facility, with 5 of those years on probation. Of course, he'll be out in a couple. I mean, this is the same Mississippi parole board that just let another double murderer out. Double murderer. 2 different murders. Back to back, different weeks. This same parole board that let John Williams? Is that his name? John Williams III. Let him out after he killed his dad and stepmom, cut him up, put him in 55-gallon drums, and drove him out from South Jackson to Brandon. Let him out after 20 years. I mean, heck, we may still get to Mars yet. This guy might be out in a couple of years. He'll probably get his degree in jail. All right, well, there's one. Well, actually, that's our second one. Let's go to another one here. This is the one we talked about it a minute ago. We talked about it. It happened, Thursday or Friday? MBI investigating after suspect shoots at officer, fled to a Jackson gas station. Paint me shot, a Jackson gas station. Yep, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. These are all on WLBT. Y'all can go look at all these stories yourselves. Clay, you're just singling stuff out. You're just picking the stories of black people. This is all on the front page of WLBT. I mean, I searched for somebody white. I did. There wasn't one on there. Y'all don't get mad at Clay. Don't shoot the messenger. I know y'all love to shoot stuff. Don't shoot the messenger. Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics investigating an officer-involved shooting. Y'all say a prayer for this officer. Finch may come after him yet. Yeah, we get it. They were shooting at you. They shot the dog. But they didn't shoot you. Did you have to shoot back? You didn't get shot. That's the conversation probably going on at the AG's office right now. I never thought I would have to go after the AG's office like this. There's some good people over there that I like. I don't want to name their names and get them in trouble. You know who you are. But man, oh man, the decision makers over there just paint me shocked. Yeah, it's going to take more than a red dress for Lynn Fitch to win governor if I got anything to do with it. Anyway, a Capitol police officer was conducting a traffic stop on a vehicle at McDowell Road when another unrelated vehicle approached and opened fire on the officer. We discussed this at length earlier. The officer did fire back, disabled the vehicle by shooting the engine and running out of oil, and shooting the future rocket scientist and engineer in the shoulder. He's expected to fully recover. Well, he will get into jail and immediately start designing spaceships to get us to Mars. All right, there's another one. I'm running over here because YOLO. All right, here's another one. Man arrested. This is yesterday. This is all just in the last couple of days here. Here's another headline on front page of WLBT. Man arrested after shooting at JPD officers. This is updated 12 hours ago. Now, we are going to have to play this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll pick this up. This is a video only, so I'm going to have to get it queued up. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. People out there who sit in the back of the class and don't pay attention. When I ad-lib sometimes when I read these stories from WLBT and other outlets, clearly WLBT did not say that the Lyft driver escaped to the criminal safe haven of Jackson. That is me ad-libbing. Just for legal purposes, figured I would clear that up. Moving forward, if it sounds too funny to be true, that's because I said it. Well, no, it's true. If it sounds funny and too funny to be written by a serious journalist outlet, that means I added to it. We'll say that. I do not tune into WLBT for their comedic spin on the news. Anyway, let's pick back up with our future rocket scientists and engineers featured on WLBT. This is announcing an arrest of one of them that decided to shoot at JPD. Come on.
Breaking news for you tonight. A man is taken into custody after firing shots at a Jackson police officer. It happened on Clark Avenue in South Jackson. That's off Greenwood Avenue. 3 News Side's Chris Fields was in that area. He joins us now to describe the atmosphere. Chris?
That's right, Howard. A scary moment for a Jackson police officer tonight. It was so dangerous that when I arrived, an officer told me to leave now because it was just that unsafe. Now, according to JPD, they responded to a call of shots fired after 6 p.m. on Clark Avenue. Once the officer arrived on scene, he spotted the shooter. After trying to make contact with the suspect, JPD says the man then fired shots at the officer. The shooter then ran into an abandoned house. That's when the officer called for backup.
He then called for additional units. Once additional units arrived on scene, the male subsequently did come on out the house and was taken into custody without incident. I mean, it's a sad situation when people have to resort to violence, even against law enforcement.
See, they should have shot him.
It's sad when people resort to violence, period, but especially against law enforcement.
Now, we do want to point out that several law enforcement agencies assisted JPD in this incident.
They just shot him.
At this time, the suspect has not been identified, and it's also unclear what charges he will face.
But in Jackson, if it had been an officer-involved shooting, we'd already know the officers' names and everything, especially JPD. Chokwe would have posted it, tweeted it, and everything else. It was Officer Jones. I'm just making up a last name there. That like I said, should have just shot the bad guy and saved us all the trouble. But whatever. He'll be back to building spaceships before you know it. All right, let's see. Do I have more here? Hold on. Do we? Oh yes. Last but certainly not least, our astronaut building team, I'm just telling you, man, they have been depleted here lately. Just completely gutted. Another future rocket scientist and engineer, and of course, potentially even an astronaut, decided to shoot a man in an illegal dice game in Pearl. Now, I originally thought, well, this guy must have been from Jackson and got lost. Didn't realize he had found himself on the other side of the river there. But apparently that's not what had happened. As you see here, if you're watching online, my goodness, he's got a long neck. Oh, my. This guy's neck is as long as my forearm. Y'all remember those memes with the guy with the neck, without a neck? This is the complete opposite. Man, they just some kind of exercises, like squats with his neck or something. I wonder if he's a big old boy or just tall and lanky. I better be careful. He gets out, he might whoop my ass. Anyway, from WLBT, a man has been arrested for allegedly shooting a person in the head while playing an illegal dice game in Pearl. What makes it illegal? Just money changing hands? Like, is it illegal if there's not money changing hands, or is it just a dice game then? Should we make dice illegal? Paging Fred Shanks. Squatted trucks were dangerous. I think dice are too. We should definitely consider making dice illegal. Pearl Police Department responded to the incident Saturday night at the George Kirsch Apartments. According to Pearl PD Chief Nick McClendon, the unidentified 23-year-old male victim was shot in the head by Ashton Lee Parker of Brandon. The victim was taken to the University of Mississippi Medical Center in stable condition. Now, I ain't going to lie. I'm going to do a little profiling here. If you had told me that the suspect's name was Ashton Lee Parker of Brandon, and I hadn't seen a picture, I would not have thought Ashton Lee Parker was a black guy. I'm just saying. Y'all didn't either. I saw my comments on Instagram when I shared just the headline, and the overwhelming majority of my followers were shocked to find out that Ashton Lee Parker was not a white guy as well. That is your wrap-up of how the hell are we going to get to Mars if we keep arresting all of our future rocket scientists, engineers, and astronauts. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We will be right back to land the spaceship for the day. It will probably never be able to take off again because all the mechanics have been arrested, but we'll be right back one way or the other. Appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Same time, same place tomorrow. If y'all enjoy this type of content, hit like, subscribe, share wherever you're watching it. Be sure to listen to WYAB. The other hosts are like-minded. I won't say we all think the same, but they're like-minded at minimum. 103.9 FM. Some of them stream online. Some of them don't. But they all are on 103.9 FM WYAB. You can go to WYAB.com, hit listen live, and listen to everybody. What's today? Tuesday? Coming up next, Chip Matthews on WYAB. He does stream on his Facebook page. Search Chip Matthews. Then Jamison Haygood is live from 10 to noon. He is on the airwaves only. He was podcasting. I don't know if he still is, but either way, you can listen live on the radio, 103.9. Then noon to 1, my good friend and yours, Mr. Sean Yurtkaran, with his girlfriend, Lindsey Beckham. They're noon to 1 every day, Monday through Friday. And they do stream live on their Facebook page. Search Crossing the Aisle. Or search Sean Yurtkaran or Lindsey Beckham's Facebook pages. It may go to one of their personal pages. I'm not sure. And then, of course, it goes to their YouTube. I watch it on YouTube. That's usually the easiest path for me. And, of course, 4 p.m. to 6 daily, it's Radio Strongman, potentially the next mayor of Jackson, Mr. Kim Wade. He does not stream, but he is on WYAB.com as well as the radio. And we do podcast his show, but it runs one day behind because I edit it in the mornings when I get here. But usually by about 10 o'clock or so, about the same time mine is uploaded, his is uploaded. You guys stay blessed. We'll be back at it tomorrow. And who knows, when news breaks, we break with it. Stay blessed.